What's good, team? So, in today's video, as you guys can clearly see, I'm going to be talking about how to beat the World Chalice deck. Now, in yesterday's video, which I would have an iCard right here for you guys to check it out before you get to this video, I talked about and I pretty much went over the World Chalice deck in detail, going over what the deck do, going over what every card does, and showing you guys a sick replay. So check that video out before you check out this video because they go hand in hand. So with that being said, without further ado, let's begin. Start by saying, why should you guys worry about this deck? Well, you guys should worry about the World Chalice deck because, like I said in yesterday's video, it's really spammy. It's Konami's new Link deck, so it's pretty much their cash cow, and it's relatively good. But while playing against the deck at my locals, I noticed the deck had two flaws. The deck's pretty straightforward in what it does. The whole deck's main goal is to span to the field in short. And while the deck does have a good grind game, a well-countered board wipe with a backup play can seal the deal. So starting off with the board wipes. Now, these are the potential board wipes you guys would pretty much be using against this deck. You have your general card like Raigeki, simple effect, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Then you have your card Dark Hole, destroy all monsters on the field. They're pretty much both the same exact card. Raigeki's at 1, which is why you will supplement the Dark Hole. Now you guys might see this trap card right here and wondering what it is. The trap card right here is called Struggling Battle, which is a card that will be released in the next circuit break. Effect pretty much reads: at the end of the battle phase, if your opponent controls more cards than you do, make your opponent banish their cards they control face down, their choice of course, so that they control the same amount of cards you do. If you control no cards, you got to this card from your hand. So, essentially, this card is like the anti-meta card versus World Chalice. You open this up against them as GG no Re, and honestly, if you resolve this against them, they're going to be hard to come back because a lot of their cards resolve off hitting the graveyard and getting their graveyard effects, because all of their Link monsters all have graveyard effects. Struggling Battle is an amazing card. I've done a video on it in the past. Definitely one of the best board wipes we've ever received, specifically due to the fact that you can activate it from your hand. But yeah, all three of these cards are relatively good against the World Chalice matchup. Next up, board wipes continue. Now, I did this section of the board wipes because some of you guys might be on a budget, you might be poor, broke, etc., and you might not want to pay the extra money for a Raigeki, and obviously the extra money for a Struggling Battle, which, as we already know, Konami loves to rarity bump everything, so I can definitely see a Struggling Battle being a secret rare, about 40-50 bucks. Well, I got you covered. Mirror Force, Rival of the Warlords, and Torrential Tribute are all relatively cheap board wipes to fight against the World Chalice deck. Mirror Force specifically, this could be any combination of the Mirror Forces, with the exception of Drowning. Drowning definitely goes based on your deck, but any Mirror Force, Storming, Blazing, Quake, well, you can't use Quaking because Link monsters can't go to defense position, but for the most part, Mirror Force is just a powerhouse against the deck, because yeah, they all get their graveyard effects where you can bring out a World Chalice monster from your hand. If you could just Mirror Force them and get rid of their main Link monsters and have them burn through their extract, GG no Re. A well-timed Torrential Tribute against this deck is also boss because it destroys all monsters on the field. So while they're trying to make their extra Link plays, while they're trying to just number someone else to start that Link someone else, Torrential Tribute can take care of a lot of the things they can do. Then also, Rival of the Warlords is another great card for this deck, simply due to the fact that a lot of the normal monsters and monsters in this deck in general all have different types. So by flipping up Rival of the Warlords, you can effectively lock out this deck, and if you flip it up on them mid to late game, you can wipe out some of their board, making them control one monster on the field. So overall, these board wipes here are pretty powerful against the deck because they all do specific things, and they're all based on timing, and they're all relatively cheap. So for that budget player who's pretty broke and doesn't want to pay a lot of money to try to fight the meta, here you guys go. Next up, the hand traps. Now, just like any meta deck that we have in Yu-Gi-Oh!, a lot of hand traps reign supreme. Just look at Ash Blossom and Joy Scream right here. Effect basically reads, during either player's turn when a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, you can discard this card and negate that effect. And this effect goes as follows. When they add a card from the deck to your hand, which almost everything in the World Chalice deck does, you can negate that. When it's special summons from the deck, I don't think World Chalice special summons a lot from the deck, but I do think some of them send cards from the deck to the graveyard. But with either here or there, a lot of them have a lot of adding effects, so that's why you can Ash Blossom their adding effects to shut them off completely. Then we also have Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit right here. You guys already know how powerful this card is. When a monster on the field activates this effect, or when a spell or trap already faced on the field activates this effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard or destroy that card in the field. So while it does not negate effects, when they activate their Proxy Dragon, well not Proxy Dragon, when they activate their Firewall Dragon, because that deck can make that card consistently, you can pop their Firewall Dragon, getting rid of it. And then not to mention too, you can pop a lot of their earlier starters to stop them from what they're doing and to effectively help slow the deck down. A lot of players have been saying on the scene that if you Ash Blossom the deck or a Snow Rabbit the deck can be left behind simply due to the fact that they feel like the deck is a glass cannon. And I can definitely see why they say that, because just stopping some of the deck's plays, they have nothing to do more than pass. Similar to how if you stop a dinosaur player plays, they have to pass as well. Then we also have Skullmaster right here. Now this is coming straight out of the OCG. When I went on YGL organization to do some research for this video, I discovered that Skullmaster is cited in almost every deck over in OCG land. And I'm not saying that they're citing it specifically for World Chalice, but it is a universal side deck card that is great for World Chalice. Effect pretty much reads, during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated in your opponent's graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and get that effect. So off back, it can stop a lot of their key plays from their World Chalice Guard Dragon, and a lot of their key plays from their World Chalice Link monsters to help keep their grind game up. So this card is really effective at doing what it does. And not to mention a 1700 body is nothing to mess with. Now overall, this deck has a lot of solid side deck cards for it. These are just some other good side deck cards I want to talk about before I cut the video off. We have Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. This card is pretty much going to be good until the end of time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Its effect is really amazing. During either player's turn, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can discard this card, reveal one card in your extra deck, then look at your opponent's extra deck. Also banish all copies of the card that they have the same name. So in a Link-centric era, this card's going to reign supreme. I highly recommend everyone picking up 3 and just holding them because they're going to be that good. But specifically against this deck, almost every Link deck is going to be using Decode Talker and or Firewall Dragon. So if you got a Firewall Dragon and Decode Talker in your Link deck, you can use Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries for this, and it just got the reprint coming out of the Mega 10, so why not pick up this card? It's a really relatively cheap good card. Solemn Strike right here, another card to pick up for this deck. You guys already know what it does. It can negate monster effects, and it can negate special summons. Hitting their graveyard effects and hitting their Link special summons is good. Nothing more to be said about that. It's a very powerful card. Paying 15 really ain't nothing. Now, I have Interrupted Kaiju Slumber right here as an extra board wipe option for this deck, but more specifically, I wanted to bring this card up because it is a Kaiju card. So while you can board wipe them, when they still recruit their plays, you can search out a Kaiju with Interrupted Kaiju Slumber and start Kaijuing their field away, which is a really great strategy against this deck because they're trying to link up everything and try to make everything co-link. You can break their co-link with a Kaiju and go off with your deck from there. So overall, guys, as a recap to this video, these are other good cards. These are the hand traps you guys want to use. These are board wipes. These are more board wipes. So overall, this was how to beat the World Chalice deck. If you guys have any questions, concerns, or if you guys felt like there was something that wasn't on this list that should have been on the list, post that in the comment section down below. And if you're a new viewer to the channel, I would love for you to subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. I'm uploading a video as much as I can pretty much every single day. So yeah, man, this is Chris from Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm signing out. Peace, guys, and stay innovative. Deuces.